Hello, comic book people of the world. You know what I haven't talked about in a long time? A gay comic book. Let's talk about Tales of the Taro Demon, Deimos, issue number 5. Before I go into anything, I need to say that this comic book is very adult. So adult, in fact, that it was difficult for me to find actual images that I can show that would be allowed on YouTube, Vimeo, my Patreon site, or Facebook, or whatever format you may be watching this video. And my secondary warning, I need to say, major spoilers, I'm letting you know right now. This comic book was published by Class Comics. It consists of 3 different stories, all of which were written by Patrick Fillion. Patrick himself drew 2 of the stories, where the 3rd one was drawn by Tom Craig. Class Comics doesn't exactly tell a story in a linear format, nor do they have the entire story dedicated to one title. This is one of those examples. 2 of the stories in this comic book take place after the Gay for Slay comic book, which happens to be in 1982. The first story in this comic book is titled Captivity, where we have the main character from the Gay for Slade comic book, Isaiah Slade, coming back to find out that his lover and partner, Deimos, had abandoned him and their other partner, Julio. Although we find out that Deimos didn't take off, what actually happened was he was kidnapped by the magic user, Silas LaFoy. Deimos was also branded by LaFoy in a magical way so that Deimos can't use his own abilities and he can't take off. Where was he branded, you may be asking? Well, just follow my fingers and just give that to your imagination. I can't show that image on this video. Another mystical being that's joining LaFoy is the character Stygian, who is a creature of the oceans. Poor Deimos, he is put through the ringer in this story. I mean, one side of me is like saying, oh yeah, that's awesome. The other side of me was like, oh god, that's got to hurt. On the plus side though, Isaiah gets resolved and determines he's going to find out what happened to Deimos, so that kind of leaves off on a positive note. The next story is titled The Aaron. This just has Deimos and Stygian going on a little side quest. This issue is drawn by Tom Craig, and he includes something that I have a big loving for, and I'm glad that it was included in this issue, and I'll just say, tentacles. And although I can't show the image, I will say that certain orifices that some people cringe about, that is not untouched. Again, I'll leave that to your imagination. Poor Deimos. He is not left untouched any less than he was in the previous story. The final story is titled A Gift for Krampus, which you can guess takes place during Christmas, and is left in an ambiguous year where it's not taking place during the storyline with LaFoy. We know this because we can see that Deimos' testicle is not branded yet. This is more of a fun story because Deimos was waiting for Santa Claus, but instead Krampus shows up in his place. And again, Deimos is a bit tortured by Krampus, but he's able to turn it around and kind of deliver it right back to him. I have a Krampus kink, so I was really happy that this was included in this issue. Afterwards, we have some sketches for the build-up to this book where we get to see the individual panels being drawn out. We get some close-ups of some of the beautifully drawn panels done by Patrick Fillion and for Tom Craig. We also have the silent edition of this comic book where all of the word paneling has been taken out so you can just appreciate the art. The artist who drew the cover for this book is Martin Fuhrer, which we get to see some of his other pieces as well. And we get an art gallery of some of the individual characters that appeared in this book, which I thought was spectacular. Going into this book, I was already prepared for some sexual activity, but damn, I wasn't prepared for that much, and holy crap, Patrick Fillion really delivered. The story is great, and I'm glad that Patrick is continuing on with Deimos being a partner for Isaiah, and I am very hyped up to find out what Isaiah is going to do when he finds out what happened to him. The one complaint I may have about this is that even though I know most people reading Class Comics don't go in for the story elements, there is a story element nonetheless, and it may be difficult for a new reader to jump on board knowing that this story is taking place, but it really took place in a previous title altogether. So sometimes the bits and pieces of the stories being put together is a little bit difficult to follow along. But it is a very minor thing altogether, and still it doesn't take away from it because a lot of people just want to appreciate the artwork that's put into this, and I have to say it was spectacular. But I'll end this video at this point. If you're interested in reading this comic book, you want to go to classcomics.com where you can download a digital copy directly from them. With that, thank you guys for joining this video. If you haven't done it yet, check out my Patreon site, patreon.com/gaycomicgeek. You become a patron, you get to see extra pictures and videos and photo shoots that I've only showed to patrons. Check it out, I'd really appreciate it. And with that, I'll join you guys in another video very soon. Peace, love, namaste, I'll see you guys later. I'm in love with a hero. The only thing missing from the Krampus scene, I think, would have had Santa come in, and then Santa either join them or just kind of watch from afar and do his own thing.